It's Raymond slowly. It's Marissa slowly. Before I knew it, it's already September. And autumn is approaching, but a lot has happened in the Russia-Ukraine war this summer. It really is. The Ukrainian military has been gradually increasing the pace of their attacks since early May of this year, and I think this summer has proven that those attacks have been going on for a while. That's right. For example, was it because of the continued attacks on weapons manufacturing facilities and gunpowder fields? There were large-scale explosions in various parts of Russia from July to August. On top of that, on August 22nd, they attacked a major transit point for the Druid pipeline, which exports large quantities of oil to the eastern kingdoms. Oh, and it seems that the Ukrainian military has certainly caused economic damage by destroying infrastructure facilities this summer. The Ukrainian military may be planning something even as we speak in late August. That prediction was absolutely correct. It seems that the Ukrainian military has overwhelmed the Russian soldiers in all aspects, including soldier equipment, due to the shortage of Pokrodin, and has made many Russian soldiers happy. What's that? So, this time I'm going to explain the Ukrainian army's major offensive in the Pokrovsk area. Take your time. To get right to it, in late August, the Ukrainian army launched a new counter-operation on the Donetsk front, and the offensive against the Russian occupation forces has begun in earnest. I vaguely knew that they had been further pushing back the Russian army this summer, but it seems that the pace has picked up. For the word defeat to be used on the battlefield, it must mean that they are overwhelming the Russians. That's right. Of particular note is the action at Pokrovsk. The Ukrainian 79th Airborne Training Brigade captured several groups of soldiers from the Russian 5th Motorized Sniper Group en masse near Maritime. It's not just a few enemy soldiers, but several groups. I'm curious as to how they managed to capture so many enemies. According to the Russian soldiers who were captured, they voluntarily took refuge after being attacked by the Ukrainian army. It's not like a few teams survived after fierce fighting and were captured. They said they chose to post on their own judgment because they were under attack, and this incident once again highlighted the decline of the Russian military on the battlefield. The Russian military may be collapsing from within more than we imagine. Videos have also been released of Ukrainian soldiers interrogating captured Russian soldiers, revealing that all of them ignored orders and voluntarily left, abandoning valuable weapons. I see. Even if the enemy lacked motivation, by taking control of the area around Pokro, the Ukrainian military will find it even easier to fight in the Donetsk region as a whole. Oh, and when they actually captured a large number of Russian soldiers, the Ukrainian military outflanked the enemy forces and cut off their supply lines. They are isolating the remaining Russian forces. It seems that by attacking effectively, they are further weakening the enemy's strength, which was not there to begin with. Oh, and in the released footage, we can see that enemy bases and ammunition depots are being destroyed one after another, and that the annihilation operation is progressing in stages. It is possible that it is only a matter of time before the Donetsk region is completely under the control of the Ukrainian military. In addition to the problem of a further decline in the number of soldiers, the Russian military also has the problem of a collapse in logistics. The railways they use for supply have been attacked by the Ukrainian military and there has been a shortage of trucks, but is the damage finally becoming apparent? That's right. Just the other day, 2 Russian soldiers were shot by a Ukrainian FPV drone while traveling on a scooter, which became a big topic of conversation. Wait, do Russian soldiers still travel on scooters these days? It seems there are quite a few of them. And of course, Russia has lost not only the means of transporting people but also the means of transporting goods. Perhaps they are filling the gap with unbelievable substitutes there as well. The Russian military now uses scooters and donkeys instead of military vehicles. Donkeys? That animal, donkeys. This is the reality of frontline transport for Russia's second-largest army in the world. There are so many things to criticize that I don't know where to start. But once again, Russia is in such dire straits that they have to resort to using donkeys as a means of transportation. Oh, the Russian military is actually using animals and even scooters to transport ammunition, supplies, and personnel due to fuel shortages and a lack of riders. It's been pointed out for some time that there's a catastrophic shortage of trucks and military-grade vehicles, but no fuel? It seems that the Russian military has been steadily suffering damage as the Ukrainian military has been increasingly attacking fuel facilities in recent months. Based on this information, it seems that the Russian military in the Donetsk region and the Pokrovsk area is really at its limit. There's no doubt about it, the Donbass is the name given to the entire region, including the Donetsk region and the Luhan region, which we've covered in various topics so far, and here too the Ukrainian military seems to be making major changes. Roughly speaking, it's eastern Ukraine. In other words, the Ukrainian military is controlling the pace of the fighting in the Donetsk region while also expanding its advantageous areas. According to reports, the Ukrainian military has broken through the Donetsk-Russian border about 15 kilometers deep and has expanded the width to a maximum of 7 kilometers. It has now been narrowed down to 4 kilometers, but if they continue to advance further, it is said that a tactical front line measuring 10 kilometers wide and 20 kilometers deep could be completed. Here too, when they captured a large number of Russian soldiers, as explained by the frontline expert, they seem to have successfully surrounded the enemy, and it seems that the Ukrainian army is considerably superior in terms of tactics. Yes, such scenes are particularly noticeable in the Donbass region, including the Pokrovsk area. It seems that they are successfully implementing tactics such as rapid deployment of mobilization units, utilization of reconnaissance and assault units, high-density frontline reconnaissance, and tactical strike-type tactics. Active collection of information and its utilization are leading to major developments in the war. It seems so. It seems that they are using the information they have obtained to read the lines between the Ukrainian army and the enemy, and through precise drone reconnaissance and strike attacks in coordination with ground forces, they are gradually luring the enemy to points where there is no escape. In short, they are conducting a highly sophisticated strategy of outflanking. Yes, as a result, it seems that they have been able to force the Russians into a situation where they have no choice but to advance along the Russian lines or on foot. The overwhelming sense of despair caused by such tactical differences may also be connected to the mass happiness mentioned at the beginning. Yes, the defeat of the Russian army around Pokrovsk is not a geographical loss, but rather a series of larger operational defeats. Conversely, it seems that the Ukrainian army is winning tactically as well as in a simple show of strength, which is good news. That's right. It seems that the Ukrainian army is feeling a sense of operational superiority. In one commander's blog, the words Donbass and our army's entire body were used in the same sentence for the first time. This resistance is not just a victory, but a result of calmly responding to the Russian army's tactical mistakes and learning from past lessons. It is evidence that the Ukrainian army is steadily learning and growing through practical tests in Donetsk, albeit belatedly. The situations of the two armies seem to be very different. The Russian army has no fuel and relies on scooters and donkeys to transport soldiers and equipment, while the Ukrainian army continues to develop from start to finish using effective tactics with limited resources. That's exactly right. The day may be near when the war in Donetsk and Pokrovsk ends with a Ukrainian victory. The Ukrainian army took a big step forward in the late summer of 2025. So, what's interesting is why they've been able to push forward so far. Even if it's because of the combination of the Russian army's lack of troops and their means of transport, and Ukraine's effective strategy, isn't it going too well? That's a good conclusion. In fact, the German Leopard main battle tank is playing a major role in the Ukrainian army's overwhelming success in the Donetsk-Pokrovsk area. Isn't the Leopard a super powerful tank? That's right, it's tough, strong, and fast, making it one of the strongest tanks in the world. It seems that this Leopard is excelling in urban warfare in Donetsk. I wonder if it's been incorporated into the Ukrainian army's effective operations. Yes, in the released footage, Ukrainian Leopard tanks can be seen attacking what appear to be Russian Special Forces infantry units with rapidity and overwhelming firepower. Russian soldiers tried to take cover in urban buildings and establish positions, but their bases were destroyed one after another by tank tactics, and the enemy soldiers, who had nowhere to escape, were either annihilated or forced to abandon their positions. This brings us to the story of Russian soldiers abandoning their positions one after another and the large number of prisoners taken at the beginning. Yes, the Russian army has virtually lost its tank force in addition to its means of transportation. On the other hand, the Ukrainian army is making good use of Nishikawa's strongest tanks. And here again the difference between the two countries is clearly demonstrated. Indeed. Does that mean that Russia is lacking in various types of equipment, regardless of genre? Oh, and there is also a shortage of pilots. In a situation where even ordinary soldiers are not keeping up in numbers, there is naturally a shortage of experienced personnel as well. Is it true that the Russian army is no longer able to operate even the few tanks that remain? Perhaps it is only natural that Russian soldiers, who are overwhelmingly inferior in terms of both weapons and operations, have given up fighting and are posting one after another. Conversely, what kind of tactics are the Russian army using on the battlefield? It is the same force charge and wave of flesh that was used when the network was first established. Here again we can see the difference with the Ukrainian army. While the commanders felt that they were making progress, the Russian army continues to use the same old, ineffective tactics. Furthermore, the situation is naturally worsening, and problems are emerging one after another within the Russian army, with commanders pushing soldiers who have run out of training to the front lines. There's no way such a shabby organization can achieve significant results. However, numerous audio leaks and leaked internal footage have revealed that the assault forces are poorly trained and poorly equipped. They have no logistical support and have not even been given operational plans. These things have become clear. In other words, are the Russians on the battlefield no better than peace amateurs? Especially recently, it seems that there are many soldiers who have been forcibly sent to the front lines in order to make ends meet, such as paying off credit cards or repairing their homes. Given this background and an organizational structure where they are not given weapons or tactics, it's not at all strange that mass destruction would occur. The soldiers' motivation is huge. The difference between Germany's powered tanks and the strategy itself. The balance of power between Russia and Ukraine is obvious even in the Donbass region outside the Pokrov region. For quite some time now, Russia has been pushed into a situation where no matter how much it tries, it cannot overturn the election. The Russian army, which has a big gap with the Ukrainian army in various ways, will be even more interesting to see what happens this fall. That's all for the explanation. Was it easy to understand? So, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. Well then, thank you for watching. Please come back again and relax.